the field in studio, maybe podcasty if you want. I'm Maria Serrao. So much to get to. So many things going on in LA sports. Let's dive right in. The Angels, you might have heard, were on a bit of a winning streak. They swept the Dodgers, which was like the first time in a million years. They swept the A's, and then they kind of hit a wall with the Yankees, who were in town, and thankfully, well, I was going to say thankfully they left the Angels, but now they're on their way to the Dodgers. So, yeah, that's how that goes. And the Dodgers, though, on the other hand, they're kind of wondering what happened to their starting rotation. I mean, last year, I feel like we went through the exact same thing. I think they had, at least a dozen starting pitchers in training camp. I'm already in football mode. In spring training, and now you've got like 1.5. So here we go again. It's going to be a very interesting summer, to say the least. Now, the Rams and Chargers are in mini camp, and you know what that means. Football is right around the corner, which makes me very happy, and I was just at both camps, so I'll have lots to tell you there. All right, lots to get to, so let's start with baseball. Now, I had an opportunity to go to Sacramento, that's right, Sacktown, USA, and that is where the formerly Oakland A's are now playing. They're playing in a park called Sutter Health Park. It's the home of the minor league River Cats, and I gotta tell you, I went with the Angels, and what a fantastic place to go and see your team play. It's a smaller venue. I'm gonna show you some pictures and video. Kids could go right up against where there was like a lawn area. I think $20 for the tickets. You could go right up against there, and you would literally be across from the dugout of your favorite team. It was fantastic. So great food, lots of really fun food. So if you get a chance and you want to see your favorite team play, go to Sacramento. I know it's not the most exciting place in the world to go, but the stadium was pretty cool, and the Angels had a pretty good time there because they swept the A's.
Oh, it's not bad, honestly. Playing here on my rehab assignment, it was the first time ever being here. Coming back, just kind of know how the field plays. I'm kind of just describing it to the guys how we want to attack the ball, how the ball's going to move and fly and all that stuff. So, I felt like we kind of had an advantage just because of that. So. But it's a beautiful ballpark. Monday and Tuesday, having a pretty packed house, it just shows, how beautiful the city is and how big baseball is around here.
It's definitely different. The atmosphere, not having, 50,000 people is definitely different. But it's still been a lot of fun. They still have great fans that come out, and they're into the game. So, it's different, but it's still been fun.
What was it like to have your family here watching you?
Oh, it was amazing just to have them in the stands, and all the family and friends from, back home, and everyone from when I was growing up just here to support me is definitely special, and it's definitely nice to have them here.
Is there anything different that you notice when you're in a minor league ballpark versus a major league one from like being in the field?
Besides the atmosphere, I would just say the lights, the lights are a little bit better in major league stadiums, and also being able to see the ball, like fly balls in the outfield. So just basically just seeing the ball. The lights are a little bit brighter in major league stadiums, but this stadium hasn't been bad at all.
So what has it been like playing in the River Cat Stadium?
I mean, yeah, like you say, it's a little bit different. It's a minor league stadium, but at the same time, it's we gotta play baseball. So the baseball is the same. We play in the big league games, so we gotta go there, have fun, and win some games.
What's it been like? What kind of a locker room situation do you have?
I mean, it's good. They do like a 2-floor clubhouse. It's really nice. I really like it.
Okay. And then what has the fan base been like? Because I know people in Sacramento are so excited to have you there.
Yeah, fans. They've been watching the games. They've been like a lot of fans in the stadium like the whole year. So it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a little different than, coming to Dodger Stadium, but they've done a great job there building it up and making it MLB ready and big league ready. So it's been not too bad. It's been pretty fun.
Did you play in Oakland last year?
I did not, no.
And what's been the biggest difference to you being in that stadium, and what changes have they made?
I think they redid the whole surface, which is great. The clubhouse is different. They added a few things, so it's as close as they can get, and for the time being, they've done a great job.
I know the fans in Sacramento are super excited to have you guys. What has that been like?
Yeah, I know. One of my buddies here is from Sacramento, and he always talks about the amount of A's fans in Sacramento. So it's been great to, come out to pretty much sold out park almost every night.
Last week, there was a bizarre trade. A couple of weeks ago, the Dodgers got rid of Austin Barnes and Chris Taylor after many, many, many years, but they weren't really playing that much, and they were kind of on their way out the door. The Angels make an announcement. They picked up Chris Taylor. So maybe it's Chris Taylor to the rescue for the Angels. We don't know that yet, but I do have to tell you a very funny story. He was coming out of the dugout at the Angels with an Angel uniform on, which we've never seen him in anything but blue, and he kind of looked around, and I'm like, yeah, he's used to being on the other side. So that was kind of funny. But Chris Taylor, he's now an Angel. Let's hope that he can maybe give some fresh blood to that team, and they'll get back on the winning streak, because they did have one, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that. All right, over to your world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. What can I say? Ohtani is finally throwing off a actual baseball mound. We know every 3 or 4 days he goes out in the outfield, and he's been throwing. Now, the fact that the Dodgers need pitching very badly, does that mean that Ohtani comes back sooner than maybe the team wants him to? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to come back until maybe after the All-Star break. We might see him on a pitching mound, but he is throwing off the mound, so that's a good sign. Again, the pitching is decimated, and that's kind of something I want to talk to one of the old-timers about, is what is going on with the Dodgers getting decimated? These injuries that's happening to these pitchers I think it's odd. I mean, 2 years in a row to have player after player after player hurt, and then you have no one, and now you're wearing out your bullpen. So what's going on with the pitching? I will have a guest soon, and we will find out. Now, on the positive side here, Clayton Kershaw has now pitched in 3 games for the Dodgers, and he did pretty well in the last one. The first one was a little bit rocky. The second one, there was a long rain delay, so they pulled him out after like 2 innings. But I believe it was yesterday he played, and although they didn't win because they're having problems at the end of the bullpen with the closer, they didn't win the game. But he pitched 5 innings, and I think there was only 1 run. So that's pretty good. So that's positive for the Dodgers. But Yamamoto, he is our man. He's pitching the best, and right now he's keeping it going for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I will try to get him on the show very soon. Thanks to all of you guys on social media. I've been doing the dugout cam. You guys seem to like it, so I'll keep that going. It's always fun for me even to kind of point the phone down at the dugout, and then we see what's going on between innings, when there's a big home run, when they're not doing so well in the game, and then you can try to find your players who kind of come and go in the dugout. So thanks for all the positive responses. It's been really fun, and if you're not following me, go to @PlayingTheFieldTV on Instagram and @PlayingTheFieldTV on TikTok, and you can find the dugout cam on there. And once again, baseball fans, take a deep breath. It's a very long season. We have a ways to go. Don't worry. The Dodgers are still in first place. And the Angels were, I think they moved to 4th place, so that's pretty good for them. So, yeah. And Michael Conforto, he was with the Mets, and then he was with the Giants for a brief time. And I had a chance to sit down with him now that he is a Dodger. And here is what he had to say about being a part of the Boys in Blue. After reading about you, really so many things to touch upon, but you're from the Washington area, right? And then reading, you're only one of 3 players that ever played in the Little League World Series, the College World Series, and the regular World Series, the MLB. If you could think back to all 3 of those, we'll go into the Wayback Machine and try the Little League World Series first. What do you remember most about that?
I just remember thinking it was, it felt like it was the real World Series to me. I just remember it being a really, really special, kind of like a journey for our Little League team. We didn't expect to make it there. We had kind of a magical run through the tournament, and I remember the stadium feeling huge, actually playing on TV for the first time and feeling like I was a big leaguer. And then just coming home, and our little town did somewhat of a like parade. It was mostly just family and friends, but it made us feel like, what we were doing was really important, and just kind of it started that flame of my love for the game.
What about from the College World Series?
Same kind of thing. You go to that next level. In that situation, we, from the start of camp or whatever it was, fall ball, we made that our goal, and we believed we were going to get there, and we did. And
then you actually play in the World Series when you were with the Mets. What do you remember most about that?
That was a dream. It was, kind of like an out-of-body experience. I mean, I was a rookie. I'd only been up for 2.5 months. We came here first in the playoffs, and it was my first time playing at Dodger Stadium. I couldn't believe how packed it was, how loud it was. And then we went to Chicago, playing in that historic ballpark. It was my first time there as well, and then playing in the World Series was incredible. Only 2 years after playing in the College World Series.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. You come from a family of athletes, so your mom was a swimmer, your dad played at Penn, he was a football player. I know you played football, your sister was a soccer player. What was that like in your house?
A lot of practices, a lot of running around. Mom was taking my sister to soccer practice, and there was a time I was playing soccer, football, and baseball at the same time, like when I was junior high. I loved all the sports. My dad was a high school football coach, so I was like on the sidelines when I was young, running the balls in and out. I was a ball boy on the sidelines, and just, I just kind of grew up around sports and having the pride of, just like knowing that my parents had played at a high level, and I just kind of expected to be to do the same thing.
Did you ever have like a favorite sport or?
Football was my favorite sport. I wanted to be like Dad. Obviously, Dad was my hero, and I wanted to be like him. I didn't really have the size or, maybe not the speed to play football, and I'm glad I didn't play football. My dad kind of pushed me towards baseball once I, started to show that I was, really able to play at the next level. He wanted to save me from, from all the injuries that happen. So I'm thankful for that. And then I think, baseball kind of took off for me in college.
Did you grow up a Seahawks fan, or maybe from Pitt, maybe a Steelers fan, or?
My dad was always a Steelers fan. Okay. And I remember us rooting against each other. The Seahawks went to Super Bowl against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh won when I was young. And so I was always a Seahawks fan, but my dad was still a hometown Pittsburgh fan. Okay,
so you get here. Did you know anybody in the locker room? I know every locker room is different. Were you familiar with anyone here?
Well, I played with Blake last year, Blake Snell. I knew Muncie from, honestly, from playing video games online. We played video games together. Just kind of like, just knowing each other from, coming up around the same time and all that. But aside from those two guys, I didn't really have personal relationships with a lot of these guys. Played against Freddie for a long time, played against Miggy for a long time, and Tommy and Will, and just didn't know him personally. But like, it was such an easy transition. These guys are very welcoming. It's a super easy clubhouse to get, just to get comfortable in.
I think Doc has a lot to do with that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. He from his camp is much different than any camp I've been a part of. He takes the time every morning to introduce people, to make it fun, make it enjoyable, and just kind of build that culture from the very beginning. And that can be hard to get up every morning and have to do a 45-minute talk session, but he makes it fun, and I think it starts the season off on the right foot for sure.
And it's always great to sit down with players and just learn more about them. So a big thank you to Michael Conforto. So when we were in spring training with the Angels, there was a rumor going around that manager Ron Washington said that when they got back to Anaheim, there was going to be nobody was going to use any of their cell phones in the locker room. So players were not allowed to use the cell phones. And at first we weren't sure, like, well, is it just before games? How is that going to work out? Well, here's the whole story, is they came back to Anaheim, and I sat down with Taylor Ward, who was, by the way, killing it out on the field for the Angels. And I asked him, I said, is it true that you are not using your cell phones while you're in the locker room? And here's what Taylor Ward had to say. I know that every year it's a new feel and a new team. How would you sort of describe it so far?
Electric. I think we got a great group of guys. I think that's the most important thing. We're all coming together. I think the no phone policy has really helped, and and winning early. I think that's another thing. And if we can all stay healthy, I think that's just gonna it's gonna be a fun year for us.
Tell us about the no phone policy and what that means.
Basically, when you're in the clubhouse, if you need to take a call or or text somebody or whatever, just go around the corner and do it. If really the clubhouse is for the guys and the camaraderie and talking to one another and just building relationships.
It's so interesting because Ron Washington, he's an old school guy, and I love talking to him and asking him certain things about what he knows about baseball. And I think that really that communication and that time one-on-one is something really unique. It's almost a gift for you guys.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think it really gets us pulling on the same rope. Living and dying with each other's at bats, not just only, you're at bat. So I just think you invest, emotionally and into the guys, and, you want the best for them, just like how they want the best for you.
You remember when you were one of the younger guys on the team, you got some very talented younger guys on the team now. What kind of things did they ask you?
Just questions here and there. I mean, really, I think the biggest thing is just coming up with what you're going to do before the game. Not necessarily playing the game. It's just keeping your body healthy. Doing the right things in the gym and and in the training room. I think that's the questions I get mostly. I take pride in my routine. I basically do the same thing every day. So since spring training day one, honestly, going back into the off season, just the same warm ups, the same everything, and just really sticking to it. No matter how you're doing out here, through thick and thin, it's just all the same. And doing what you need to do. That's going to keep you healthy.
Do you take time off in the off season?
I take a month off. Yes, a month, and then I get right back at it.
And do you do like any kind of workout during that month, or just complete rest? Really?
Complete rest. Yep, absolutely nothing.
Do you go on vacation, or do you read? Do you chill out? Like, what's your favorite thing to do?
Yeah, definitely just chill out. We live out in Georgia, so we're out in the woods, and we just basically just enjoy the woods. Yeah, pretty much. No cell service. Just get away from everything and decompress.
There's something good about that no cell service sometimes, Taylor.
Oh, it's so nice. It really is. Yeah.
It's time to move on to where are my helmets? The Chargers and the Rams, who are in mini camp right now, and it has been so much fun because the draft picks are there. The Chargers with their draft picks, they had 9 draft picks and so many unrestricted free agents. So that's been really fun to talk to some of the players. I was at the Rams yesterday, and 6 of their draft picks there. We had a chance to talk to one of them yesterday, and that was their number 1 pick, and that was Terrence Ferguson. And I have to tell you, it's just so much fun. He's a tight end, and of course, he's telling us that he is spending so much time really soaking up Tyler Higbee, who looks, by the way, fantastic out in the field yesterday. He is back from his injuries. I think he's going to be solid this season. We just have to keep him healthy. Now, I want to go back to the Rams draft because the Rams they're forward thinkers, and we always talk about this. I think that their marketing department, they're getting out into the community. People are so dedicated, and it was such an important thing when they came back to Los Angeles to say, okay, we are going to get out in the community, whether it's with the kids, whether it's with charities, and I think they go somewhere every week, 52 weeks a year. They do not take any time off. And when they decided to do their draft, they always go to a house, they go to a draft house, and they've tried to spread it around to different places. It was in Manhattan Beach last year. The year before that, I think it was even in Encino Hills. We've been in Beverly Hills. We've been in Malibu. We've been all over. But this year, because of the fires, and the lady that you are going to meet in a few minutes, she told me that when the fires happened and it really touched so many people at the Rams, players, staff, somebody lost their home, they kind of stopped and said, okay, we are not going to go to a big draft house for the draft, because they felt like they should really think about what happened. It was kind of surreal because we ended up doing the draft at the Air Ops facility, and it was absolutely amazing. So get ready for this story. Each year for the NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams have touched many neighborhoods for the event, but this year was different. In light of the LA fires, the team wanted to give back to the first responders, so they held the draft at the LAFD's Air Op facility in Van Nuys, California. I sat down with Rams Chief Marketing Officer, Kat Fredericks, to find out how this very special and unique location came to be.
I mean, I think every year we try to take a defiantly original take on trying to make what is one of the NFL's biggest tentpoles of the year directly relevant for the Rams. And for the last 4 years, we've been able to really break through many years without a first round pick. And that's, in the last 4 years, been a different house in a different neighborhood. So we started in Malibu. After winning the Super Bowl, we took ourselves all the way up in the Hollywood Hills. I think, followed it up with a pretty tough season. So went back to the lab in an undisclosed location in the Valley. And then last year, with a first round pick, being able to build a field on the beach and invite people in to celebrate Sean McVay's very first round pick as head coach, and really make a galvanizing fan event out of that. I think for us, coming out of our wild card game in Arizona, which ostensibly should have been earned and deserved at SoFi Stadium, but in light of the wildfires, we all knew we didn't want our first responders taking their eye off the ball, creating any other stress or tax on that, and so gives us an opportunity to think differently about, hey, in light of everything that's happening, how do we think about a way to honor our heroes? And I think as we were going through that, our immediate opportunity was, hey, we are in Arizona, we're all sporting LAFD gear, all proceeds headed to the LAFD Foundation. Is there more, right? Everyone is so focused in that acute moment, all eyes on the crisis. But all of us really, as Angelinos, know this is going to be a long walk back to normalcy. So how do you ensure that everyone knows the Rams are going to be there with you every step of the way? Whether you've been directly impacted or you know someone that's been impacted, we want the Rams to be that resource that you can lean on. And so when we think about the draft, it's such an incredible opportunity to really honor our heroes, to put eyeballs in this incredible Air Ops hangar that really services all of the neighborhoods across LA. And today we were able to do that and host a first responders event today that really just was a personal thank you, and not just to LAFD, LAPD, CAL FIRE, city, county, and so many more.
And to show appreciation for being such gracious hosts, the Rams brought along a special friend for everyone to meet.
The Lombardi is it is a emblem of greatness. It's an emblem of reaching that pinnacle, and these guys do that in small and big ways every single day. And just to see them light up in the same way that my team and our staff and our players have lit up when they've seen these helicopters and these engines, and these fire trucks, to be able to just be in mutual awe has been really special. And I keep saying, this has been something that has filled my soul and really brought me an incredible amount of joy. And it is a first for me in my career. And I think that there are more and more opportunities for us to underscore the importance of this LA Together platform that we continue to use to really celebrate and honor everyone who is doing great things for our community and really, protect and serve in the best possible ways.
And while the Rams selected 6 new players in this year's draft, they also formed new bonds with these first responders at the LAFD Air Ops. I'm Maria Serrao. Such a great story. It is so much fun to work with the Los Angeles Rams, really all of the teams, but I love it when they think like that and they're just very conscious about things that are going on in our community. So props to the Rams. It was so much fun to go to the Air Ops facility as well. And thank you to the fire department. They're amazing. We love them. And thanks for all that you do. We really appreciate it. All right. The big story this season in the offseason for the Rams has been Cooper Kupp leaving and Davante Adams arriving. So Davante has been the big story. How is he getting along with Matthew Stafford and the coaches? And everybody is excited to see him out there on the field. So we had to ask, of course, quarterback Matthew Stafford and head coach Sean McVay, how is it going with Davante? We're going to get him next week, but here's what they had to say yesterday.
Yeah, it's always a work in progress. We're always talking out there, which is a lot of fun. A guy that's a veteran player, has played a lot of football, had a lot of success. So it's fun just trying to communicate as much as I can with him. Obviously, he made some great plays today, but it's fun to work with guys that understand the game and still have a lot left in the tank. So it was good. I think I was texting with him late last week a little bit and just saying, hey man, you're a great player because of your skill set, and I'm going to continue to work and watch, and whether that's watching live after I throw and then go back and rewatch and make sure what I was seeing and feeling at that moment was real. And then we just talk about it too, right? After every single set, it feels like we're over there talking about, hey, this is kind of how I'm thinking I'm going to come out of this or feel that, and it's just constant dialogue. And honestly, those are the best relationships I've had with receivers, and the most success that I've had is guys that want to talk to you on how, what they felt, what they were doing, and I can also say, hey, this is what it looked like from my angle, and go from there. But he's definitely he has that feel, he has that understanding, and that's a huge positive.
Okay, and on this show, I am giving away a bobblehead. All I want you to do is go to Instagram or TikTok. It's Playing the Field TV or at Playing the Field TV, and tell me who your favorite Dodger legend is. I will randomly pick someone. I just want to know why you love the Dodgers. Maybe you've been a fan for many, many, many years, and that's all I want to know. And I'm going to send you a bobblehead. Send me your information, and that's it. Now, on the next show, I will give away an Angels bobblehead. Same thing. How long have you been a fan? Who do you like? Who do you love? How many games do you go to a year? Are you one of those people that turn it on as soon as you get home from work? I know somebody who is such a huge Dodger fan that he records every single Dodger game, and he won't talk to anybody until the game comes on so that he can watch it and know exactly what happened. So you can't bring up the Dodgers when you talk to him. So I want to know more about you guys, what you like, especially when it comes to baseball. So that's what we're going to do on the show. Again, at Playing the Field TV on Instagram or on TikTok. Tell me who your favorite Dodger legend is, and I've got 3 Dodger legend bobbleheads. I will pick one and I will send it to you, and that's all you got to do. Now, for all of you IndyCar fans out there, thank you for my last show. Got so much response with the Long Beach Grand Prix, but we just had the Indy 500. Congratulations to Alex Palou. He is in the driver's seat, you might say, this season for IndyCar. He is winning race after race after race, and he did just win the Indy 500, which is always, It's the big kahuna. I mean, even this year, Tom Brady was out there. Derek Jeter was out there. They got to go for rides in the two-seater with Mario Andretti. Who would not want to do that? That will do it for today's show. Remember, you can watch Playing the Field 24/7 at playingthefieldtv.com. Thanks for joining me again in studio. I'm Maria Serrao, and we'll see you next time on One of the Field somewhere.